Death toll in Jigawa tanker explosion climbs to 153. Court adjourns Okwama crisis. 2 billion naira suit against Nigerian army till November. Artificial petrol scarcity hits Bauchi metropolis. On the foreign scene, EU leaders summit meeting opens with more tightened migration policy in the works. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's News Update. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Thank you for joining us. Death toll from the Jigawa tanker explosion has risen to 153, with 100 people hospitalized. Reports said the death toll rose to 105, while 70 others sustained various degrees of injuries. In a fresh statement, the police spokesman DSP Lawan Shisu Adam confirmed the increase in the number of victims. He said those that have lost their lives have been buried in a mass grave, while those injured were currently receiving medication at Aminu Kano, Jahun, Nguru, Hadija, and Gumel hospitals. "16 victims from the tanker explosion at Majai town in Taura, local government area of Jigawa state, have been transferred to Kano. The 16 victims who sustained severe injuries as a result of the incident are currently hospitalized at the Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital. Checks at the hospital revealed that while the victims are receiving adequate care from health workers at the facility, their relatives are outside in anticipation of their quick recovery. One of the affected victims, Muhammad Shoaibu Majai, who is a former House of Assembly member representing Majai local government area, said he lost a son to the inferno, while one other is currently receiving treatment. He therefore commended the government of Jigawa State for taking full responsibility of the patient's bill and upkeep. The incident occurred at around 11 p.m. on Tuesday when a patrol tanker en route from Kano to Nguru in Yobe State lost control and crashed, spilling its contents. As residents gathered to scoop fuel, the tanker exploded, resulting in a massive inferno that has claimed no fewer than 157 lives. In Borno State, the governor Babagana Umar Zulum has expressed shock over the tragic tank explosion that killed over 105 people in Majia village, Tara local government area of Jigawa State. Zulum, in a statement released by his special assistant on new media, Abdurrahman Ahmed Bundi, on Thursday, extended condolences to Governor Umar Namadi and the families of the affected victims and prayed for the repose of the souls of the departed. The explosion occurred when a tanker driver lost control of his vehicle near Khadija University in Majia village around 12 noon on Tuesday. Still in Borno State, the police command, under the leadership of Commissioner of Police CP Muhammad Lawal Yusufu, has successfully rearrested another escaped convict, one Hawalu Aminu. Hawalu Aminu, who was serving a jail term for criminal conspiracy and theft at a medium security custodian center in Maiduguri, unfortunately escaped due to the devastating flood incident in September 2024, which collapsed the fence of the facility. On October 16, 2024, police surveillance at Bama Area Command, Banki Divisional Headquarters, received a credible tip-off that Hawalu was sighted in Banki town. Police patrol swiftly responded and apprehended the said Hawalu Aminu. The convict has been profiled and will be handed over to the Nigerian Correctional Service for further action. Still in security over in Delta State, the police command has issued a stern warning to the point of sale operators against handling transactions above 500,000 naira, cautioning that such dealings could involve them in criminal activities, particularly kidnappings. The warning was delivered by the state's police public relations officer, SP Bright Dafe, in a video shared on Thursday morning. Although the identities of the suspects in question were not revealed, the video captured the police questioning two suspected kidnappers involved in using POS transactions to transfer and collect ransom money. Dafe warned that POS operators who engaged in large transactions could inadvertently become tools for criminals, especially kidnappers, to launder ransom payments. He cited a recent case involving a POS operator who unknowingly processed a 4 million naira ransom payment, earning just 40,000 naira as profit. Adafe also encouraged operators to report any suspicious activities to the police to prevent being caught up in such dangerous situations.
I have been talking and educating people on social media, particularly POS operators. Any person that wants to do transaction above 500,000 naira should go to the bank. Whenever you are as a POS operator, you are receiving money too much that is unreasonably high. Understand that there is an element of crime in it because they are supposed to go to the bank. This lady here was contacted by this suspect who collected her account number, her POS account number, and sent 4 million naira into the account. 4 million naira that was taken from a suspect, from a victim who was kidnapped. 4 million naira ransom money. And she said her own profit was 40,000 naira. Madam, be very brief. Who is this man? Come now. Why are you still sitting there? Who collected your account number? Timothy?
Yes.
Who is Timothy?
Timothy Ogenochukwu, my customer.
Is it this man?
Yes.
Touch him now. Say, see, this is Timothy.
This is Timothy.
But you say una dey do business together before now. What kind of business? Explain what be local fraud.
Local fraud process wey be say bomb Facebook, cash all those women.
Who they do now you they do local fraud. Yes, but which fraud you feel say they do?
All those ones they say they do fraud. And we I just know when they do that.
They use gun they do fraud.
When we say yeah.
They use gun they do fraud.
And yeah, before they do another.
They use gun they do fraud.
Here in Abuja, a federal high court on Thursday adjourned 2 billion naira fundamental rights enforcement suit filed by former caretaker chairman of Southern Niger local government of Bayelsa, Lucky Okode, until November 28. Justice Binta Nyako adjourned the case following an oral application by Okode's counsel, Asma'u Yunusa, to enable her respond to a counter affidavit filed by Mimi Ayua, lawyer to the Chief of Defense, General Christopher Musa. According to the suit filed on May 3 by Femi Falana SAN, has sued the CDS, Musa, and Chief of Army Staff, CAS, Taurid Lagbaja, as first and second respondents. The applicant is accusing the defendants of allegedly publishing his photograph among those wanted in connection to the killing of 17 soldiers in Okwama in Delta State. He therefore prayed the court to award 2 billion naira in damages against the respondents for the alleged violation of his rights to personal liberty and dignity. The applicant also prayed the court to set aside his declaration and award the fine as compensation for damages suffered over the action of the defense headquarters in Abuja. Justice Nyako, however, told the lawyer who represented the CDS, Mimi Ayua and Yunusa, that the issue is what the parties can sit down together to resolve amicably. Still on court matters in Abuja here, a high court sitting in Maitama on Thursday shifted further hearing in the leadership crisis rocking the Staff Multipurpose Cooperative Society of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company NNPC Limited on November 8. Justice Charles Agbaza said the court would on the next date equally hear a motion that 15 staff members of the NNPCL, who are defendants in the matter, filed to disqualify him from presiding over the case. The defendants, through their team of lawyers led by Ibrahim Idris, SAN, are asking the judge to recuse himself, insisting they were not confident in his ability to resolve the leadership dispute objectively. They allege that some of the interim orders the judge made in the matter reflected his bias against them. Justice Awaza, who acknowledged receipt of the motion, adjourned to hear all the pending applications in the matter. The suit was brought before the court by 4 aggrieved members of the cooperative. Away from that, as part of the commemoration of the 2024 World Food Day, which is marked on the 16th of October, stakeholders in Lagos Wednesday presented food items to some beneficiaries in the Ogba Agege community. The exercise, apart from marking the World Food Day, was also to help address the ongoing economic inflation and food shortage across the country. Victoria Tokolo brings more on this report as presented from our studio.
In commemoration of the World Food Day and as part of the effort to eradicate hunger in the state, concerned stakeholders gathered in the Ogba Agege area of Lagos State to celebrate and distribute food to the community members, especially the children. Speaking to Trust Television, stakeholders say they were glad to reach out to the community, especially in providing food to the less privileged.
And we're in this community to see that we can actually aid and see that people can actually have one or two things to eat. We actually go around to locations. Order is not a priority for us. We go around to different locations. Order is just opportune to have us at this point in time. And we are very happy with the acceptance. We are very happy with the number of people we can see.
And I encourage every one of us, no matter how little or how much we have, to come into the society and give to the poor and the less privileged so that it can go a very, very long way. Happy World Food Day. My advice to stakeholders is that we're all human. We should do everything to make sure that the world is a better place for everybody to live in. I can do little for myself, just to make sure that everyone is okay, and especially food. I believe that food is a right.
Some of the beneficiaries, particularly the children, expressed gratitude for the food they received in celebration of the World Food Day.
When it comes to World Food Day, like you can see, it is a day where you go to communities to give back to the communities. We all come together, we, the volunteers, the organizers, even children. You can see them actively dancing at the back to just bring love and joy to the community. Probably, okay, you might say just a day, but today at least we can see the joy and happiness in them.
And I want to thank what they have done for us and for them to give me this opportunity to speak. They gave us rice and chicken and we really enjoyed it.
Stakeholders says fighting hunger is everyone's responsibility, while food should not only be shared on World Food Day but every day, to ensure that everyone, especially children in communities, have access to good food.
More stories. The crisis at Nnamdi University, UNIZIK, Anambra State, has escalated, with members of the institution's Senate calling for the dissolution of the newly appointed governing council. During a Senate meeting on Wednesday, protests erupted as members held placards with various messages urging President Tinubu to dissolve the council, which is led by Ambassador Greg Mbadiwe, in order to restore peace. Students have also threatened unrest over the ongoing situation. The institution, named after Nigeria's first president, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, has been embroiled in a leadership crisis following the exit of former Vice Chancellor Professor Charles Isimone on June 4. Professor Joseph Ikechebulu initially took over as acting VC before the council appointed Professor Carol Umobi to serve as acting VC for 6 months, further intensifying the conflict. The Senate meeting was intended to elect Senate representatives for the search committee for a new Vice Chancellor and the interview panel for the registrar position. However, the session ended in discord, with participants attributing the crisis to the actions of Pro-Chancellor Greg Mbadiwe. Artificial fuel scarcity has hit Bauchi metropolis as customers continue lamenting on the situation despite hike in price of the commodity. Trust TV Adamu Imam went around the state capital to get an overview of the current situation in some fueling stations. He has more in this report.
Nigerians continue to lament on the lingering fuel crisis in many parts of the country, coupled with the high cost of essential commodities. In Bauchi State, northeast Nigeria, the story is the same, as customers accuse the authority concerned for allowing artificial fuel scarcity within the state capital. We realize that they always close the filling stations. We are on queue. On reaching us, they notify us that the product has finished, which is untrue. And now we are in this station. We don't know how we could get the fuel now. We may have to buy from black marketers. We pray for God intervention on the situation. We visited 5 filling stations so far. We couldn't get the product. Honestly, there is fuel, but they created artificial scarcity to suffer us, just to satisfy their selfish interest. We are on queue again. We are struggling to buy the fuel even if we live here. The story is the same elsewhere. So authorities should look at the plight of the masses, please.
The government, they have to look for their people. We are very suffering in this country. About this fuel, anything is off now. Nothing is in this country. But the leaders, we apologize to them. Please, please and please. They have to look for the country, the people of the country.
Effort to get Independent Petroleum Marketers Association (IPMAN) to respond to the situation was unsuccessful at the time of the report. Some residents who spoke off camera while on queue at one of the filling stations visited said Nigerian government is not sincere with the masses. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Now, the value of the naira depreciated at the unofficial market on Wednesday as it traded at 1,705 naira to the dollar, according to Bureau de Change operators in Lagos and Abuja. On the Nigerian Autonomous Forex Exchange market, domiciled on the FDMQ securities, the naira closed trading at 1,659 naira 69 kobo to a dollar, indicating a 0.04% depreciation from 1,658 naira 97 kobo to a dollar that it traded on Tuesday. On the official market, the naira traded at a high of 1,682 naira to a dollar and the low of 1,562 naira 97 kobo to a dollar. The daily turnover dipped to $177.10 from $217.86 million on Tuesday. The value of the naira reached a new low on Monday, closing at 1,700 to a dollar, a 0.29% decline compared to 1,695 naira to the dollar, which it exchanged last week Friday. European Union leaders on Thursday arrived at a summit in Brussels to seek ways to make the bloc a more hostile destination for migrants and asylum seekers, following a recent surge in support for anti-migration parties. As the summit opened, the 27 EU leaders prepared to look at plans to speed up initiatives to get unwanted migrants out of the bloc and process asylum applications far outside their borders. The tenor of the debates is a far cry from 2015, less than a decade ago, when the EU was faced with a migration crisis. Well over 1 million migrants and refugees sought help then, mainly from the Middle East and Afghanistan. In recent weeks, Poland has said it wants to temporarily suspend the right to asylum, with Italy opening 2 centers to process asylum seekers outside its borders in Albania, while Germany has reinstated border controls, all of them measures going in the same direction. With the extreme right surging in the EU parliamentary elections in June and other polls in Germany and Austria since, migration remains a trigger button for leaders.
Returns are the missing link in our migration policy, and as you know, Greece has been implementing for the past 5 years a very tough but we believe fair migration policy. And I'm happy about the fact that gradually the European Council has recognized the importance of the external dimension of migration and the need to effectively protect the European borders. But of course, as you know, the Pact on Migration and Asylum does not address the question of returns. We cannot accept the fact that we are not effective to deal with those who are not entitled to protection status in the European Union.
Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi on Thursday discussed rising tensions in the region with Egyptian officials in Cairo during the first such visit by a top Iranian official to the North African nation in around a decade. Araghchi held talks with his Egyptian counterpart Badr Abdelati and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, focusing on efforts to de-escalate Israel's conflicts against Gaza and Lebanon. El-Sisi reiterated calls to end Israel's war in Gaza to prevent it from expanding into a regional conflict. An expanded war would have serious repercussions for the security and capabilities of all nations in the region, he added. The Egyptian president also called for an end to the escalation in Lebanon and the violations in the West Bank and to ensure the delivery of much-needed humanitarian aid. Araghchi's visit to Egypt is part of a wider diplomatic tour in the region meant to ease tensions. This month, he met with officials in Syria, Lebanon, Qatar, Oman, and Iraq, and is expected to head to Turkey after concluding talks in Egypt. In the sports scene, 8 countries have officially qualified for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations set to take place in Morocco, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) confirmed. The qualified teams include Congo, Senegal, Egypt, Angola, Cameroon, Algeria, Burkina Faso, and hosts Morocco. CAF made the announcement through a series of posts on their X accounts following the completion of crucial qualifying matches. Congo, Senegal, Egypt and Angola were the latest teams to secure their spots after winning their respective matches on Tuesday. Congo defeated Tanzania 2-0 at the Benjamin Mkapa National Stadium, while Angola secured a 1-0 victory over Niger Republic. Egypt triumphed 1-0 against Mauritania, and Senegal also claimed 1-0 win over Malawi to confirm their place in the prestigious tournament. These teams will now join Cameroon, Algeria, Burkina Faso and Morocco, who had already qualified for the tournament, which is slated to take place in 2025. The presence of Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa in the lineup for Kano Pillars against Rangers International FC Enugu on Wednesday in one of the 2024-2025 Nigeria Premier Football League March Day 7 midweek encounters saw the visitors pick all 3 points from the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium. The former Leicester City star showed class and masterminded Pillars, leading Rangers 4-0 at half-time at the Cathedral. Rangers looked ordinary and spineless at home, as Musa, who recently rejoined his boyhood club, registered 3 assists and scores 1 on the day. Musa and his midfield marshal, Rabiu Ali, combined effectively to give Rangers fans an uncomfortable moment, especially in the first half. Although Rangers rallied in the second half and scored 3 goals, it was already too late for the Flying Antelopes to surmount the hurdle ahead of them. And that concludes the news update at this time. For more of our news, programs and documentaries, do want to follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Thank you for joining us.